Let's take a look at minor 251's and major 251's. First, starting with the major 251's. Major 251's are based off of major scales. If you were to take any note on the keyboard, we'll take C for example, and ascend in the following order of intervals, you end up with a major scale. Those intervals are, first we start with C. This is 0. We haven't moved anywhere. We're going to go up a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, and then in reverse order going back down. This applies to any note on the keyboard, any major scale. I was just playing the key of E flat. If I take E flat and ascend whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, I end up with a major scale. But we're going to stick to C for now. What does this have to do with 251's? 251's involve specific chord qualities, and I want to explain how those chord qualities come into being, because they're not just random. If I were to take C and stack three thirds on top of that C, I end up with a seventh chord. A seventh chord is an extension of the triad. A triad is a set of 2/3. A seventh chord is a set of 3/3. Using the notes of the C scale, this quality is a major 7th. This is a C major 7. If I were to do the same exact thing, the same exact process to the D, simply stack thirds on top of each other, three all together, in the key of C, using the notes of the C scale, this quality is a minor 7. So this is a D minor 7. When any major scale, the 2 chord, as long as you obey the rules of the major scale, stacking thirds on top of each other, you end up with a minor 7 quality. Let's move that to E flat. I just want to make this really clear. In E flat, the 1 chord will always be major 7. The 2 chord will always be minor 7. Same exact thing for the key of C major. There it is. Okay, we want 3 chords though. We want our 2 chord, which you just covered. Our 5 chord, what does our 5 chord end up looking like? Stack thirds on top of each other using the notes of the C scale. You end up with a dominant 7. And that always returns to the 1. So here we have our 3 functions in functional harmony. We have our predominant or subdominant moving to the dominant, sets up the resolution to the 1 chord. Alright, so that's a major 251. Minor 251's. In order to find a minor scale, you can either follow that set of intervals, or you can take the major scale and flat or lower 3 different notes. Lower the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th. So you have E flat in the key of C melodic minor. You have a C flat, or excuse me, an E flat, A flat, and a B flat. Using those modifications, let's do the same exact process here. I want to form a 7th chord. I stack thirds on top of each other, but I'm going to obey a different set of rules. We have to obey the flats. That 7th chord that we end up with is a minor 7. All minor keys, as long as you play the 1 chord and stack thirds on top of each other, you're going to end up with a minor 7 chord. All right, now let's look at the 2. 2 is a minor 7 flat 5, or half diminished. Same, a different way of labeling it, but it's the same chord. Now let's take a look at 5, which is an exception. Here we're using the 5 chord, the dominant function, and I'm not obeying the rule of the scale because I'm using a B natural. There's different minor scales. This is the melodic minor, but there's also the harmonic minor and the natural minor. Okay, that tenth sound, you can hear it when you play our dominant 7. So we're gonna, this is an exception. You can either use a minor 7 or a dominant 7 for your 5 chord in a minor 251. So here we have the 2, which is a minor 7 flat 5. Then you have the 5, which is either a dominant 7 or a minor 7. which always resolves to a minor 7 as your 1. 2, 5, 1. All right, let's actually apply that now. Here's the structure of the solo that I played at the very beginning of the video. Let's jump into it. Let's add some extensions, add all these 251's. And I'm not going to jump straight to the 251's. I'm going to go in order, and I'll timestamp each concept as I go along, which will be in the description. But first, we're going to start with an E flat 6/9. Oops, that's an eraser. Looks like this. Left hand comes up and plays all the extensions. Here's our 3rd, 6th, and 9th. What I do with the left hand there, I took my chordal structure, my 4ths, and I moved it down a whole step. But that's the same chord. That 9 is now in the bottom. It's our bass. But I moved it right back up. So you're using a little bit of modal harmony. Moving to our 5 chord, B flat 9 suspended. Our 2 suspending notes. We have our sus4 and sus2, E flat and C. In the left hand, I'm going to arpeggiate this chord and come up and play each extension. In the melody, I'm just going to move down, invert, I'm going to arpeggiate all the extensions. Go down. Quick, B flat 13. Let me explain that one. We have B flat as a root, minor 7, 9, 3rd, 13, and then doubling the root. That, of course, that's our tonic. It's going to move us back to our 1 chord. E flat 6/9. I'm going to write a couple of other chords here before I explain what's going on. Briefly, for a sec, I'm going to move to a B flat. Because the melody has the major 3rd of a B flat in it. But then quickly moving back to our initial E flat 6/9. And let me explain the voicing as well on that B flat. So this is a B flat 13 flat 9. We have B flat minor 7 flat 9. 3rd, major 3rd, and then 13. Going back to our tonic. All right. Let me explain this. As we know, so far, our B flat chord has always been a major triad. But out of nowhere, we suddenly have a minor. Why is that? Let's think back to what we just learned. In a major 2-5-1, the minor 7 is always the 2. And so let's look at this B flat and look at our next chord. We're moving from this B flat minor, we're moving to an A flat, which is our 4 chord. Does that have any relation to each other? A B flat and an A? Yes, because look, B flat is the 2 for A flat. So that's another clue, that's another indicator, but let's actually look at the A flat scale. We have 4 flats to watch out for. Let's go ahead and use the A flat scale to form a 7th chord. Let's take B, stack 3rds on top of each other. Just like that, obeying the rules of the scale, following all the flats. What do we end up with? We end up with a B flat minor 7. That's perfect. That means that's the indicator that we're setting up a 2-5-1 in a major key. There it is. So if we're setting up a 2-5-1, I'm also going to add the 5, which will be an E flat. The 5 of the 4 chord is E flat. It's going to be E flat 7, sharp 5, sharp 9. And I'm also going to add an additional chord there. I'm going to add the tritone sub. This is A9 flat 5. And sorry, this will be B minor 7. Here we go. In my left hand, I have our root B flat, minor 7, and minor 3rd. Five of 4. Here's our E flat, 3rd, minor 7th, 3rd again, sharp 5, sharp 9. Moving to the tritone sub, which is an A. Where did this A chord come from? Because A isn't in any of the keys that we've covered so far. A comes from the tritone of our 5 chord. The 5 chord is E flat. If we move up 2 minor 3rds, we end up on A. And I'm going to add an A9 flat 5 chord. That's where that A comes from, and that moves perfectly stepwise down into the 4 chord, which is why it sounds so good. We have an A flat major 9. Alright, here we go. We're moving to our minor 2 chord. And in order to do that, we're going to set up a minor 2-5-1. Let's take a look at the F scale, F minor scale, F melodic minor scale. It's actually a parallel key to A major, so it's going to have the same set of flats, A flat, B flat, D flat, and E flat. And now if we formed a 2 chord, here's our first note. Let's go to 2. Stack thirds on top of each other, 3 all together, and obey the rules of the scale. You end up with a minor 7 flat 5, or half diminished. So that's going to be our that's going to be our 2 chord, 2 of 2, 2 chord of the 2 in the general scheme of the piece. It's going to be G minor 11 flat 5, followed by a C, the 5, C7. We're going to use the dominant 7 and throw out that E flat. E flat, C7 flat 5 sharp 9. That's going to go to an F. I'll write this in F minor 11. Now the voicings. Here we have our A flat major 9. A flat is the root, our 5th, and then B flat is the 9. And our major 7 is the G. So get ready, here we go. G minor 11 flat 5, G minor, minor 7 flat 5, minor 7 doubled, the 11 in the melody. C7 flat 5 sharp 9, C major 3rd, minor 7th, sharp 9. So a 9 is a D, but sharp 9 would be D sharp. That's a flat 5. To an F minor 11. This is pretty straightforward. You have all of our extensions played in order, in the right hand. The left hand goes root, 5th, minor 3rd, 5th, minor 7th, 9, and 11. Alright, now our goal is to get to the E flat chord, which is our tonic. We're going to do a simple 5-1, but use 2 separate voicings of that 5-1, of that 5. Is B flat 13 sus, and a B flat 7 flat 9. B flat 13 sus, B flat minor 7, 9, 11, and 13, but these two also serve as the suspending notes, so we have sus 2 and sus 4. Moving to a B flat 7 flat 9, B flat minor 7 flat 9. C would be the regular 9, flat 9 is C flat, along with the 3rd and 7th above it. Finally resolving to our 1 chord, which is going to be an E flat 6/9. Alright, so let's do a quick recap of that whole entire thing. First, we're starting with E flat 6/9. A little left hand, moving stepwise down. Same chord though. Moving back up. B flat 9 sus, arpeggiating with the left hand, coming down to the extensions with the right. To a B flat 13. That was our dominant, moving back to the tonic. E flat 6/9. Briefly moving out of that chord for a sec to a B flat 13, flat 9. Back to E flat. B minor out of nowhere. That's because that's a minor. That's a 251. It's the minor second in a 251, major 251. Here's our 5 chord. Tritone substitution of that 5 chord. Let me say those voicings out loud though. Here we had B minor 7, E flat 7 sharp 5 sharp 9, moving down to our A9 flat 5, which resolves to our 4 chord, A major 9, A flat major 9. Alright, now we want to set up a 251 to our F minor 11. What are we going to do? We're going to go to a G minor 11 flat 5, C7 flat 5 sharp 9, 5 chord. That resolves. Alright. We're gonna add a 5 to. We're gonna add 5 because that's gonna resolve us to our 1 chord. B flat 13 sus